What's up, y'all? Happy 2019. It's a new year, so I thought I'd start off the new year with some questions from you guys. I took to my Instagram, asked you guys to ask me anything that you want to know or ask, and I will answer them in a new YouTube video. So this YouTube video is responding to all of your Instagram questions. So let's just get right into it. First question is from Chad Wynn. He says, is making feature films your ultimate goal, or will you stick to music videos mostly? I think anyone that kind of gets into video production or you know, making videos, their ultimate goal is to make feature films. That's always been my goal. That's always been just my number one thing in life. If I want to achieve, it's to make a feature film that people go to the theaters to watch with their family and friends, and my name is on the big silver screen. Mike Lang asks, what did I shoot with Beautiful Destinations and when will it release? What I shot for Beautiful Destinations was like some commercial kind of campaigns for some hotels in San Francisco and Vegas. It's not anything they'll be like putting out on their YouTube or Instagram. It's kind of all for those companies, so I don't think it will be seen by the public. Buxley Culture asks, I don't know what camera to buy. I've been thinking next between the Sony a7 III or the Canon 1DX Mark II. Thoughts? Both of those are slightly older cameras, not so much the Sony, but the Canon 1DX Mark II for sure. They will be, rumors have it, a 3 will be coming out in 2019. If you want to drop the bread for that, I would recommend just doing that. But honestly, I love the Canon 1DX Mark II. It's one of my favorite cameras ever, so I'm a Canon guy myself, I would choose that one. Directed by AJ asks, what are 3 things you would have done differently while being an upcoming filmmaker? 3 things I would have done differently. I would have tried to network a little bit more because everything in this industry is connections. Even when you're at the top, it's still all about connections. So that's number 1. Number 2, I probably would have tried to get on more sets other than my own sets early on. That's again where you make connections and you just learn a lot through just being on other people's productions and seeing how things are run. And number 3, I don't know. Can't think of anything off the top. Tyler Casey Productions asks, what are your goals for 2019? Goals for 2019. I want to buy a house in Hawaii. I want to, shoot, what else do I want? I would love to get a feature film deal either locked or in the works. Not shot, but at least like a deal in the works. That's a really big goal. Shoot a couple new short films. Really build out my new companies, Prism Lens Effects and Tropic Color, and get those to a even bigger number than we had last year. And then again, work on a lot of YouTube stuff and help out a lot of people and do a new mentorship group and get that kicking again, because I love helping people. Hence why I'm even doing this questions video. Patrick Clark 26, if you could give advice to the 20-year-old you, what would it be? Network, man. Network. Get out, go make connections, get on people's sets, work for people, collab with people, just network. Mikey Bennett DP, any tips on how to get noticed by bigger directors or companies? Really do good work and then reach out constantly. So have your reel, have your work, and reach out to these bigger names, show them what you can do, and try and grab their attention that way. Because that's the only, they're not just gonna stumble across you, you have to actively pursue them. Danny Ilson Photography asks, outside film and photography, what other industry would you work in? Fitness industry, for sure. Buff nerds. Michael R. Fenton asks, what are you most proud of? I think what I'm most proud of is the diversity in my career, from all the music videos, commercials, films, directing, editing, coloring, and then starting these filmmaking product companies and having those companies and being in real estate and having real estate investments. I think just the diversity of my portfolio, my entrepreneurship, and not being stuck to just one thing, and just really having, I guess, a diverse portfolio and career. He also asks, what's your favorite place to travel, and what has been what's the top on your list still to go? Top on the list to go is Maldives. Really want to go to the Maldives, but my favorite place so far is either Hawaii, just because I freaking love Hawaii, and the Bahamas. Exuma was absolutely breathtaking and incredible, almost like make-believe. It was so tight. El Marzet asks, what did you use to light inside the car on Makeout Massacre? I talk about that in the behind the scenes video. That's on my YouTube channel in the playlist. Go watch the behind the scenes. We talk about the lights used in that, but it was a Quasar 1 foot like LED tube light. John Caron or Caron, I don't know how, sorry. Have you ever thought about directing a feature film for a studio? Yes, I would love to, but it's not that easy. You don't just walk in and like, hey, I want to direct. It just doesn't work that way. And I still got dues to pay, but that's the goal one day, to direct a feature film. I know I have the talent and abilities. It's just a matter of all the pieces lining up correctly. Jason Crockett, 45, asked, how did you learn to color grade? Do you use Premiere for color grading or Resolve? I just learned to color grade on my own. I think I've always had a good eye for color. My mom was an art teacher, and growing up we were always painting, and she taught us the color wheels and what colors complement each other. And so I've always had an eye for, I think, color and art. And so just naturally, I've always color graded my own stuff and just kind of picked up on it without taking any lessons or schooling on it. And I do all my coloring inside of Premiere back there. I don't use any outside program, just do it all in Premiere. And I even created that company, Tropicolor, which sells a lot of LUTs for color grading for people who don't really know how to color grade, but also just like a lot of other post-production assets. So yeah. Patrick S. Wadsky, I'm sorry I messed that up. How do you always keep such a high energy? I always struggle with laziness if I let a project sit for a while. That's the key. You can't let a project sit for a while, because if you let it sit, it becomes harder and harder to do it. You become lazier, you put it off, and you never get it done. Tackle something right then and there, move on to the next thing. High energy, I get my energy from working out. Honestly, the more you work out and the healthier you become, the more energy you're gonna have. The more you do nothing, the less energy you're gonna have. So maybe start working out 4 times a week, whatever, and you'll start to see more energy. Afromedia asks, what are some creative ways to improve your camera skills? Just try new things. I'm always trying new things. You got to practice, just like anything. You're playing basketball, you get better at basketball by practicing. Same thing with shooting or camera skills or techniques. You learn more and you get better by practicing. Jared Stuckey asks, what is your biggest fear? My biggest fear is honestly what I kind of talked about earlier, not directing a feature film. That's always been my goal since I was, really probably high school. I want to make a movie that people get to go to the theaters to watch. And that would be one of like my biggest fears in life, is to not achieve that goal that I had set for myself. Maggle asks, favorite thing to shoot? Favorite thing to shoot? Man, probably music videos, because they're just fun and creative when you have a budget and you can do some cool things, music videos with a budget. We Are Rising asks, will you do next year a workshop for video creators? Yes, planning on doing a workshop. It is in the wheels in motion. We definitely want to get that kicking and going. So hopefully 2019, we will have a Buff Nerds Media workshop for filmmakers all across the world or US or wherever. Lucas Scott Films asks, how do you come up with story ideas for short films other than fan films? I don't know, it's just something that I would just think of what would scare me. Like, I like doing like horror shorts. I don't really like to do anything else, and I would love to direct either action thrillers or horror films one day. And I just kind of think, okay, what would scare me? And then I build off of that and kind of come up with an idea around what would be scary to me or what would be cool to me. And sometimes you just think and nothing comes. Other times things come right away. So yeah, but I just try and think what would be unnerving or scary to me. Lane's Love asks, when did you know you wanted to work as a filmmaker? Man, I just always loved making movies and videos since I was a little kid. And then in high school, I did a video for the football team that played at the pep rally. And then all day long, I had people saying like, yo, that video is crazy. Like, you should make videos for a living. Like, you're so good. And that was kind of the aha moment of like, yo, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. I'm gonna make videos. I'm gonna be a filmmaker. MDub Creative asks, what did you do when you were between projects to stay creative and motivated? I'm just always trying to come up with stuff and work on stuff like this. Like when I don't have a major project coming up, I work on YouTube videos. When I don't have any YouTube videos or projects to work on, I work on my other companies and make promo videos for them or come up with new products or ideas. So just always trying to think of like something to fill the time or the gap or the space in to work on. Always thinking. Doo-doo and Farts asks, when can you talk about the necessary legal paperwork to have an order when owning your own production company? Yeah, that was something that was like new to me when I first started, and I got a CPA to help me through all that. A CPA will, kind of run you through all the things that you need, from your business license to taxes, and they'll do your taxes for you. And so I actually got a CPA right away to help me through all of that, because it can be a little much if you don't know what you're doing. Jack Boring asks, could you go through and how you set goals for yourself and actually follow through on them? I talk about that a lot on my Instagram and other videos on here. Basically, you set a goal for yourself, cool, that's like a dream. It's a goal, but you need bullet points of like the everyday or every month steps or processes of how you would achieve that goal. If your goal is to lose 20 pounds, okay, that's cool, that's your goal, but what are the bullet points? What are the steps? I'm gonna work out for 30 days straight, or 30 minutes a day for 30 days. I'm gonna eat, you know, no more bread, gonna cut that out completely. Like, you have to have steps and bullet points of how you're gonna achieve that goal. And then that's how you will actually achieve those goals, by following your steps you lay out for yourself. Josh Haynes, KC, asked, what was your first paid job? It was a local Arizona music video called like Popcorn or Movie or something. It was so bad, I got paid like 150 bucks, and I was doing little local AZ music videos for local artists for like $150, $200 on my Canon T2i. Ninth Wonder asked, what is your process to writing and shooting a short movie? My process is different. I don't really, I mean, I kind of have a loose script, but I never even have it on set. I don't storyboard. I kind of run through everything in my head, and I'm such a visual person. I don't need to write it out. I don't need a storyboard. I see it all in my head. And besides, everything changes on set so much that you could have all these storyboards laid out on the script, and then all of a sudden it's like you can't do that once you're on set, just because of the limitations of the set or the timing, and you got to switch it all anyways. So I'm a big advocate of just having it all built in your head, but that's something I'm good at and can do. It's not for everyone. Everyone's different. Everyone has their own creative process. That's just how I do it. Kyle Sanchez asked, what budget did you work with on those 2 shorts where you filmed, and where did the money go? So there really wasn't a budget per se. I mean, I paid for like the gear rentals, for like the lights, and like to get people to travel up there. But everyone on set, from the DP to the actors, they're all friends and homies, so we just all came together to make them. But there were small, you know, things like the lighting rentals, the food, the props, the fake blood, like stuff like that. I don't know what the running total was, but pretty much all of us friends came together to make them, but I don't know what the actual running total of the budgets would have been for those. Daniel SPNZ asked, tips for directing, tips or advice on directing. And this is something I learned in college. You can't tell an actor like a verb. You can't tell them, be scared, be sad. You have to give them a motivation that they can attach to or reach to and dive into to create that emotion. So if you want them to be sad, tell them, you know, what's going on in the scene, about like, hey, if you cannot get a hold of this person is going to be out of your life forever. Like, how would that make you feel if you never got to speak to you have to give them in a scenario to process in their head that will elicit that emotion. So that's the biggest thing. You can't just tell them, hey, be scared. Well, why are they scared in the scene? Give them a reason for their character to really latch onto. Theron96 asked, how to land your first gig? Who do you reach out to? I landed my first gig by just reaching out to artists on email and Facebook, and I would just use my little videos I had in reel and reach out to them and be like, hey, I can shoot you a video, here's my reel, here's my work, would you like to work? So you just gotta use your work and reach out to as many people as possible, the people you want to work with. Eventually something will stick. Tyler Wolf CX asked, what made you get into video making and filmmaking stuff? Who is your inspiration? Like I said, I've always liked it, enjoyed it, but one of the first things that comes to mind is Signs. M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. I remember watching that movie, and in the behind the scenes, he has a little video where it shows his old home first monster movie he made when I was a kid, and I remember doing the same thing, and I was just like, oh, if he's making movies and he did a movie when he was a kid with just this RC car and a mask, like I can do the same thing too. And it was just really inspiring, and so that movie and him really took things up another level for me and inspired me to really pursue, I guess, filmmaking. Martin Photographer asks, what's your motivation to be a filmmaker? Motivation, I just love to create stuff. I love to entertain people. I love to make things, you know, and I think it's just a great form of expression in art, and being a filmmaker is one of the coolest ways to express yourself, because you're making something that people are entertained by and can watch and share with their friends and family. And I don't know, it's just cool. And so I'm just motivated to always constantly make stuff for my own sanity, but to also like entertain people. Do you draw out the storyboard for your shooting? Carson Kaw asked. No, I just talked about this earlier. Don't draw out storyboards, never have, just not something I like to do, and I feel like I don't need to. Barub Films asks, how did you meet Tom? Tom's my good friend, business partner, DP. I met him early on when I first moved to LA, and we shot a Radical Something video together. Met him on set. He shot the video for me, DP'd, and we just connected and been friends and business partners ever since. Wafer asks, first camera you ever used? T2i and a kit lens, first one. Well, that where I actually made videos. Other than that, it was an old high-8 tape camera when I was like 5, my parents' old home movie camera. That would technically be the first. Ricky Turner asks, when are the Buff Nerds getting hats back in? Yo, I was just thinking about this. I need to get some new Buff Nerds hats made, so 2019, that's gonna happen. Connor Fredrickson asks, what did you do to pay your bills before you became a full-time filmmaker? That's really it. I mean, I had saved up some money from like the first and only job I had. I worked at PacSun for like a summer, saved all that money. And then I started in college right away, starting shooting music videos for like, yeah, 150 bucks, 200 bucks, worked up to 300 bucks. And I just always supported myself off of that. All right, last question from Tatahana. What advice do you have for young filmmakers? Practice, work on something every day. You can only get better if you're practicing and working on your craft, and you're just not going to progress and get better in what you do in your craft and what you want to do by just sitting back not doing anything. So every day you need to find something to work on that will improve yourself and improve your craft. All right, that is all the questions. Thank you guys for asking those questions. If you don't follow me on Instagram already, go follow me at Jakob Owens. Again, appreciate all the questions. Hopefully I answered them and you guys learned something, got some value out of this video. Appreciate you guys as always. Until next time, I'm Jakob Owens for the Buff Nerds.